What's a poppin' juicy jammers? Welcome back into Jammin' with Juice. I am your girl, Carrie Noni Juice. Always keeping it juicy, you know that. And of course, I got my boy Ben Jammin with me.
It's amazing.
And you guys, it is such a big day, all right? Election day is here. And right now, we are joined with someone who got the juice, all right? I'm talking about singer, songwriter, actor, record producer, one of the youngest and the first black men to win an EGOT. I am talking about John Legend. What is going on, John Legend? Thank you so much for joining Jamming with Juice today.
Man, I'm so happy to be with y'all today, and I'm so excited to talk to the good folks of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, Wisconsin is that girl. That's what I like to call her, okay? Now, we have a big day tomorrow. You know, how hopeful are you that we are going to get Kamala to bring this thing on home?
I'm so hopeful. I'm a naturally optimistic person, but I've just been watching the way she's finishing the campaign, the way her opponent is, and the difference could not be more clear, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's just finishing with confidence and clarity and poise and intelligence and grace, and he's just a mess and spreading more hate, spreading more division, and he just looks like he's not really in control of his faculties either. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she's finishing super strong, and he's finishing super terribly, and I think it's going to be reflected in the vote tomorrow.
Now, John Legend, you being a native of Springfield, Ohio, how did it personally make you feel when you heard a lot of the rhetoric that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance were spewing about your hometown?
Well, I really encourage everybody to go to my Instagram page. I did a 5-minute video explaining what's happening in my hometown and helping people really understand the real truth under the lies that were being spread by the former president and his running mate. And just think about how irresponsible it is for our leaders. You know, when we elect people to be the leaders of this country, their words are so meaningful. They move markets, they move governments. The words that they say, they need to use those words with caution and with clarity and with an understanding of what is actually true and what is not. And Uncle Donald Trump, he's like your Facebook uncle that, just goes online and believes whatever he sees that kind of validates what he wants to believe. And he never actually looks into the truth of it. And then he goes out and spreads these lies about people, dehumanizing them, villainizing them, partly because of the color of their skin and partly because they're from another country, and then causing all kinds of trouble that affects so many different people. If you look at the effects of what he and J.D. Vance were saying about the Haitian migrants who legally came to my hometown and were legally working in my hometown and are legally working in my hometown, the things he said about them were all lies, and they caused a lot of pain for people. They caused a lot of pain for the Haitians, but also for the entire community. They were getting bomb threats in my hometown. Correct. They had to evacuate the elementary schools. Can you imagine your elementary school kid going to school and having to evacuate because of the hateful words of a presidential candidate, someone that's supposed to be a leader? Right. And this is the kind of human being he is, and the idea of him being entrusted with the presidency, with the nuclear codes, all of that is crazy to me. We can't go back to his leadership again.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's actually kind of scary. It is very scary that he's gotten this far twice.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It is extremely dangerous. So I'm glad that you even mentioned that. But I really just want to say that I appreciate you and Chrissy for being so vulnerable and transparent about the loss of your son, Jack, back in 2020. And, you had to have an abortion in order to save Chrissy's life. Can you speak to how that loss affected you personally? Because with what's at stake in this election surrounding reproductive rights, some people argue that those issues only affect women.
Oh, they don't just affect women. I think anybody who's gone through any sort of complications with pregnancy or, had an unwanted pregnancy that that they and their partner felt like it wasn't the right time for them to be parents. Like, you all know someone in your life or yourself have gone through this, and you want to make a really wise decision, but it's a very personal decision, you know? Mm-hmm. And to have the government involved in that, when it's really up to you, your own personal faith and your morality and your doctor. These are conversations that are really intimate, and they have to do with your health and your safety and the sanctity of your own body and the choices you're able to make about them. You don't want the government involved in that. Mm-hmm. You don't want the police. You don't want the district attorney. You don't want the law involved in that. You want to make that decision with your own sense of morality, your own sense of your body and your health and your own circumstances and your own family, but you don't want the government involved in it. And I just know from all the complications that we've had with pregnancies in the past, trouble getting pregnant, and then losing baby Jack, all those things are so heart-wrenching, and they're so personal, and they're so physical for a woman to go through. The idea of the government being involved in that is just insane to me.
Now, John, we're just ordinary people.
We
don't have no place to go. All right, we don't have any place to go except for the polls, John.
Everybody's got a place to go, and the polls. Tomorrow's the last day you can vote, and I think everybody in Wisconsin is very clear on how closely contested all of Wisconsin's elections have been. If you just look back in the history, not just the president, but recent history has shown, like, governor's races, every race is decided by just a small, tiny amount. And that's why Wisconsin's a swing state. That's why you're seeing all those commercials that you can't wait to be done with. Everybody knows how important Wisconsin is, and what that means for Wisconsinites is that you have a lot of power. You have a lot of say in the future of this country. And you don't want it to be said that you didn't use your power to make a difference in the future of this country. And the stakes are real, you know. Sometimes in the past we've said, all these politicians are all the same. These parties are the same. It's just 6 of one, half dozen of another. But I think we've seen recently, and we've seen for all the years that Donald Trump's been in public life, how uniquely harmful he can be, how uniquely divisive and hateful he can be, and to put him back in charge of this country, to have him speaking for the most powerful country on earth with the biggest military on earth, the biggest economy on earth, having him in charge of running that is just no way. We can't do it again. We can't go back.
I was just about to say.
We won't go back, as Kamala Harris says. And so I think knowing that the stakes are so high, knowing how manifestly terrible and incompetent we saw Trump being the last time he was in charge, knowing that he has even fewer sane people around him, you know, kind of advising him and providing some guardrails for the country, we can't entrust him with the presidency again. And the great thing about it is not just voting because we don't want Trump. It's voting because we have such a great alternative in Kamala Harris. She's ready for this. She's eminently qualified for this. She's been a district attorney, an attorney general, a senator, a vice president. She's been in all these rooms where huge decisions have been made. She's learned from all that, and then she spent the last 6 months and really her entire vice presidential term going around the country and listening to people, understanding what their needs are, what they want from the government.
Correct.
And then she's got plans to actually provide that when it comes to affordable health care, when it comes to child tax credits to make it easier to be parents, when it comes to starting your own small business, when it comes to buying your first home. She's got plans that will make your life easier and more affordable and make the American dream more accessible to more people. And so I think the choice could not be more clear, and I'm excited for Kamala Harris to be our next president.
Yes, no, I am 100% excited as well. And while we're about to get you out of here, I have to ask you because, you have such a way with words and your songwriting. Your catalog is incredible, right? What
Thank
song?
you.
Oh, you're welcome. What song out of your catalog would you say describes the times that we're in right now?
Oh, my marching song is Glory. I get people. I usually end whenever I do a political speech. I usually end it by singing a little bit of Glory because it takes me back to the people who inspired the song, and it wasn't just Dr. King and what they did at Selma to fight for voting rights, but we were also writing during the time after Trayvon Martin was killed and after Michael Brown was killed. And so we were inspired by everybody who was marching in the streets for Black lives and knowing that we still have to fight for our rights to be considered fully human in this country.
Right.
And knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was the song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio. We wrote that song inspired by all that came before us, all that was happening currently, and knowing that we're going to keep that battle going for our rights, for our equality, for our humanity. And one way we can do that is by having our voices heard in this election. Just thinking about, what John Lewis did and what Martin Luther King did and all the people who marched with them, Fannie Lou Hamer, all those activists and organizers who put their lives literally on the line. Some of them lost their lives so that we could vote. I'm not going to sit out, and I encourage everybody to value that sacrifice that our ancestors put in for us and make sure we have our voices heard.
Now, John Legend, it's so interesting that you put it that way because you said, hey, I wrote this song out of everything that came before me. Unfortunately, we lost a great. We all found out early this morning. Quincy Jones is no longer with us.
Yes.
Rest in peace. With that being said, John Legend, who do you believe that Quincy Jones might have, voted for during this election?
Oh, of course he would have voted for Kamala. I mean, what's interesting is so many people in the entertainment industry, we came across Donald Trump one way or another in different circles. He was an entertainer. He was on television. He was in the entertainment world. And we knew he was a BS artist. We knew he was a con man. We knew that, he played a good businessman on TV, but he wasn't actually a good businessman. So I feel like most of us in the industry who came across him, and even if you look at people in New York, they know in his home city, his home state, they know who he is, and they wouldn't trust him to run the country. There's no way. That's why he never comes close to winning New York State or New York City.
Right. Well, thank you so much, John Legend. I would ask you to sing a little bit of Glory, but I don't know if we'll be blessed to be able to hear a little bit of that.
One day when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, glory. All right, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you, John Legend.
John Legend, for joining Jamming with Juice. I'm your Noni Juice. That has been Jamming. And thank you again, John Legend. Always keeping it juicy. Ooh, I like that one, Ben Jammin. I'm glad we got him to do that.
Yeah, no, that was love. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you both. It was a pleasure.
Most definitely. You. If you ever get a chance, you should look up Hollywood Hooks with a Z at the end on Spotify. Check it out. It's my
Hollywood Hooks. All right, I'll check it out.
Thank you, dog. God bless you.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.